Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny Lillo and we're here at the Cameron's Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood, and I'm here with Patsy, Sally and Arthur with their movie, Poor Deaf Kid. Let's take a look at a clip.
Family, we don't have money. Sometimes we have no food at home. Being poor is not a choice.
Thank you so much for joining us today and congratulations on your film. It's been a pleasure and we had such a great time last night. Tell us a brief synopsis of your films.
This particular film was a piece out of a larger piece called Poverty Not a Choice, and it was created so that it was pull aparts, so that they could be used separately or then together. And this piece was written by Arthur, and all of the pieces were written by people that were actually experiencing poverty. And I guess our goal with Poverty Not a Choice, and then of course Poor Deaf Kid, was to find a way to reach people who wouldn't ordinarily believe that this really existed in our country, and then to not only use the movie to demonstrate that poverty did exist, to also call upon the pathos of it, as well as the logos, the factual information that goes along with it. And so Arthur's piece is a piece that not only addresses poverty, but a lot of other issues that kids in the United States face that maybe most people who have enough don't understand. And so he created this piece, and we knew it was pretty magnificent right from the start.
It was magnificent. Arthur, it was one of the best short films that I've seen. It was so powerful and so incredibly well written. Incredible. Tell us a bit about your journey in your decision, how you wrote it and how you performed it. Tell us a bit more about that.
When Patsy approached me and she talked about making a film about poverty, I knew that I wanted to approach it from the angle of disability, because that's such a personal experience for me growing up with a hearing difference. And I knew I wanted to bring that to the table because I think when we talk about poverty, it's important to look at stuff like race and disability, because these are all things that affect people who live in poverty. And so I really had to look back at my own childhood, and my best friend growing up, he's profoundly deaf, and I'm just kind of like in the middle, in between, like, you know, I'm not hearing, I'm not deaf, I'm just kind of in the middle, this middle space. And both of us struggled a lot with like the language barriers, and you know, growing up in a hearing society and having these differences. And I really wanted to combine not just both of our stories, but the stories of deaf children all over the world. And so it took a lot of revisiting some childhood memories, and you know, my best friend grew up in a family that didn't communicate with sign language, and I'd forgotten about that, but it really resonated with me. And so I sat down and I told the story from my heart. And I wrote, for me personally, it's not just our story, but it's the story of so many people all over the world. And it just came to me, and we had these rehearsals, and one thing led to another, and now we're here.
Well, I mean, Arthur, you are an incredible voice for people across the world, and you know, really, really incredible. It was just one of the most powerful things I've seen, and you wrote it as well, because he's going to be a very famous novelist. Just telling you here first, and we'll talk a bit more about that. Sally, tell us a bit more of the overview of your involvement with this film and you know, with this project.
So for the last 5 years, I've run a nonprofit called Nebraska Loves Public Schools. And what we've tried to do is counter the national narrative that says that all of our public schools are failing. So we've gone across the state of Nebraska, and if you didn't know, it takes about 10 hours to drive from Omaha to far western Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
So we've crisscrossed the state and shot more than 30 films about great things happening in public schools.
And Patsy, Teacher of the Year. I mean, that's just such an incredible achievement, and you were honored by President Barack Obama for your wonderful service in teaching, which is just phenomenal. What does this really mean to you? Because you've spent 43 years as a teacher. What does this mean to you to make these projects like this?
Well, I grew up in poverty myself, and so I had always used theater in education as a means of teaching students to explore history and to explore social justice and how they could be a part of change if they were willing to look at the story, know about the story, and tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
So it fit right into my philosophy of not only education, but my philosophy of what theater should be all about. So it meant a lot to me because kids mean a lot to me, and it also meant a lot to me because I had lived what they had lived. So when they gathered in my basement, the 10 of them, to begin this process, I could look at them and say, you really aren't telling me anything new, and you don't have to be embarrassed about it, because I don't know if you realize this, but most kids who live in poverty, the last thing they want is for you to know about it.
Yeah.
They don't want to be different than anybody else, and they'll do almost anything to hide it. And so there's no hiding down here, I said. We're just going to let it all be and tell the truth. And that's what happened. They'd come in. My favorite picture from the whole process is they'd come into my very middle class home, small, and take off their shoes at the front door and head to the basement. And we'd have food, and we'd write,
Wow.
rewrite, critique, rewrite. And for 3 months, we worked on that, and we finally got to the rehearsal process. But it took us a while to get to the rehearsal process. So I love directing, and I love kids, and there's no better combination between among those things than social justice,
Mm-hmm.
kids, and theater. And you put them together, and you have kids who are willing to tell the truth,
Mm-hmm.
then it's a powerhouse. And I thought Arthur was a powerhouse.
Oh my goodness. Arthur, we're going to come to you. Well, there's no doubt that you deserve that allocate of Teacher of the Year, because, you know, your service to children and is phenomenal. And your heart, I can feel your, I wish you were my teacher when I was growing up.
We all do.
We all do, right? Arthur, being part of this project and being able to share your story, what did that mean to you? Was that almost a release for you to kind of be able to say that in words?
In a way, yeah, because I've never really been all that comfortable talking about being deaf or hard of hearing, and so this was a great opportunity for me to really create my own voice and to use this as a platform to open up the door to get people more aware about people with disabilities, because it's kind of an invisible disability in a way. You look at somebody, you don't know or they have a disability or that they live in poverty. And so for me, it kind of helped me break out of my shell a little bit more and to be more comfortable talking about it and saying, this isn't something that I need to be ashamed about or embarrassed about, because if I can speak for myself, other people can speak for themselves too. So this whole process, it's been a growth for me as a person and really understanding what poverty is and how it affects so many people. It's just a constantly growing, learning experience.
And not to mention your incredible talent as well, which you come with. And what is it now? What do you want to do next, Arthur?
I really want to just like write novels and just really explore a lot of these social justice issues and find different ways like to use science fiction and fantasy, because I think people are really drawn to that, and to combine that with social justice and injustices and find a way to really get people engaged by using literature. Like that's my dream.
Oh my goodness, I'm in honor of being of all three of you presents, really. You are a gift to us at NewFilmmakers LA, and your story is such an important one to tell, and I hope that everybody watching and all of us will all come and support you in your journey. And please, all three of you continue exactly what you're doing right now, because you are really, changing and shaping this great country up. So thank you so much.